The COVID-19 pandemic is still wreaking havoc on New Mexico's schools, and those lingering challenges come during a time when the state is still struggling to improve educational opportunities for all students. The Associated Press recently got a hold of a draft plan by outgoing Education Secretary Ryan Stewart to address those inequalities, which were at the center of the infamous Yazzie Martinez lawsuit. But that report, which is more than 100 pages, is short of specific ideas, assignments, or programs. In fact, it seems to fall short of many of the recommendations of Judge Matthew Wilson, especially in terms of broadband improvements for the state's most vulnerable populations. And Rebecca, several years into this, should we be further along in solving these inequalities? Or, got to ask, has COVID thrown all of that out the window, or should we just still be chugging along here despite COVID?
Well, I, like many, are a little disconcerted or a little discouraged, that we don't have a better plan of action. But I also do want to acknowledge and be sympathetic to the public education department, because no one at that time could have seen what 2020 and 2021 had in store for students and educators and families.
Fair point.
With that being said, in addition to the things that the court had asked specifically be addressed by the public education department, the other thing that is missing is any mention of charter schools. And the idea that there are charter schools in New Mexico that are providing truly exceptional academic outcomes for the populations named in this lawsuit. And I would really love to see our leadership looking into the best practices at charter schools and then transferring them to the broader education community. We've got case after case after case, specifically with these student groups, that if we would just acknowledge charter schools are not the enemy, maybe we can work together to learn to benefit the students. It's something worth looking into.
That's a very interesting point you make there, Rebecca. I hadn't really thought about that, the charter schools not being sort of highlighted there, even though there's some excellence to be shown. I got to think, if I'm in the public school system, you may not necessarily want to be highlighting charter school success, but we can all get that. But Sophie, swinging to you on that. Sure. The plan I just mentioned is just a draft. Should we get all worked up about this as just a draft, or should we be a little bit further down the road at this point on all these issues?
Well, there is some concern that it isn't further down the road. I mean, I think State Representative Derek Lente, who represents a number of Native American constituents and has been a real advocate for that community, says, look, we only got so much time to review when this is not a draft, when you're ready to actually show it to us. And we need that time in order to be able to give effective feedback in advance of the next legislative session. I don't think he's wrong about that.
Sure.
That even at 100 pages of draft, let's assume it gets bigger, and folks are going to need time to read, digest, reflect, and respond. And there's not a lot of that. So, I mean, one thing that I think is notable here is that this was not, from what I understand, an official release of this document to constituencies. And so we're still waiting to see what everything will be.
Ed, one of the specific recommendations of this new plan includes an increase in pay for teachers who have secondary Spanish or Native American language certifications. And that makes sense in terms of attracting teachers in hard-to-fill positions, but teacher recruitment seems to be just this monumental hurdle in general in New Mexico. Is it time for more radical thinking on this front than what we discussed a little bit earlier, that it just can't be about money? Something else has to be kind of introduced here.
Yeah, again, it's all about appealing the teaching profession to as many people as possible. We've had periods of time where teaching positions were filled. There was something about being a teacher that really attracted a lot of promising people in our state. But we seem to have lost that, just like we've lost a little bit law enforcement. I'm not sure really what the reasons are. Now, with regard to this plan, full disclosure here, I was a member of the Latino Education Task Force, which was a driving force behind the Martinez side of the lawsuit. And so there is probably a little bit of frustration going on, because we've been working on this for over a decade. I remember having conversations close to a decade ago about how we're going to move this forward. Now, if we're just looking post lawsuit, we say, well, give them a little bit of time. Well, if you're looking at those who need the help, those students who needed the help, many of them are probably 18, 20 years old, and they just missed the boat. Now we're trying to help out those who are up and coming. But any little bit helps. You mentioned teacher pay and teacher incentive. I won't knock anything that really brings in, those promising individuals and helps those out who are really contributing to the solution of making our education system better.
Rebecca, the idea of broadband in this, back to the broadband issue in the Yazzie Martinez lawsuit, Judge Wilson, set a standard for high-speed internet for students, and the public education department has its own standard, which is actually less than that. Is there still a major disconnect on this issue and the importance of connectivity? I mean, we've been talking about this. Ed just mentioned 10 years. We've been talking about this for 10 years as well.
At least.
Yeah.
Major disconnect, especially when, again, these guidelines were kind of put in place, saying what the judge said, this is what I expect to see, in the public education department saying that what we do was already enough. That was all pre-pandemic, and that was when we didn't know how important two-way video communication between students and teachers could be. Not to mention, there is a very large number of these students, again, specifically these student groups, that it wouldn't make a difference because we are not doing enough to get internet to those students, and broadband hotspots, Wi-Fi hotspots don't make a difference if you don't get cell service out there. So it's kind of like we put these benchmarks in place. You've got to be able to do better for these students, and it's not just on the public education department. Our entire state, our communities as a whole, need to rally around these particular student groups and do better for them in terms of community support, what we're doing, that wraparound support, and how we're getting them better food, how we're getting, addressing food insecurity and broadband and all the things. It's such a big issue. We all have to take more responsibility in helping.
Good point there. So just a couple of minutes left here, but the governor has tried to get the Yazzie Martinez case thrown out, as recall, but the judge has ruled the state has not done enough yet. And you might recall, I'm sure, former Governor Susana Martinez had vowed to appeal that initial ruling before Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham reversed course after winning 2018. Is that lawsuit still doing its job in terms of forcing the state to address education inequalities, especially considering we haven't seen the needle move much in 3 years, honestly?
Well, I mean, I think as long as the ruling stands, it is something that the governor, whomever the governor might be at that time, at least has some sort of obligation. There is some legal obligation there to address it.
Right.
It doesn't seem like it's one thing to say, yeah, we agree with that in principle, and to a certain extent, to what Rebecca was saying, it's another thing entirely to actually do it.
Right.
And sort of circling back to our earlier conversation, how big a chunk of that 1.4 billion would really, aggressive work toward satisfying this obligation? How big a chunk would it take of that money? I don't know, but I hope that will be part of the conversation.
It's almost tailor-made, Ed, again, real quick, for a one-time expense hit. That's what I'm talking here. Why can't we rally around this idea of broadband and say, by a date certain, we're going to be at X? Why is that so hard?
And Gene, it shouldn't be, right? I mean, it seems to be pretty straightforward, but what it requires is leadership, and to take this issue. Someone takes responsibility, takes this issue by the horns, and
someone, please. That's all we're asking. That's right.
And makes it happen.
That's
because
right.
It's doable.
That's right.
It's going to take someone to be that driving force behind it and make it happen.
We're all asking. That's a wrap on our Line Opinion panel this week. We thank you all for your research and insights, and be sure to engage with us on any of the topics we tackled this week on the line by reaching out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.